All right, very good afternoon. Welcome back on a wonderful new year. So today we are starting a wonderful year, a wonderful subject. Today we're going to be getting into the second session, start our class with a positive point, and then we move on to our class. So we always have this complaint that we do not have the time. I do not have the time to spend with my family. I do not have time at work. I'm so busy. We're all so busy. We don't know. We don't have time. So one of us, somebody like us, went and met a Guruji and he asked this question. Guruji, I'm holding a very big position in my organization. I leave home at 7:30 in the morning for work and I'm back only at 8:30 p.m. I have to achieve my organizational goals, and at the same time, I want to give quality time to my wife and family. So how do I do that? So Guruji said, the fact of the life, my dear friend, is you are busy because you chose to be busy. You and me, we chose to be busy. We chose to live in that country or the state. It's our choice. Now we need to add one more dimension to our choice. That is, in fact, in spite of this fact that we are busy, we will also learn to be relaxed, balanced, and make any relationship work beautiful. So life is like a painting. It's not arithmetic. The painter chooses to create his own world through his art. So the person asked, what should I do, Guruji? What should I figure out? In spite of my busy schedule, how do I balance this? So the Guruji said, you should observe an ant and learn to organize your life. He was like shocked. What will I learn from an ant? Guruji goes to explain ants are wonderful creatures. Ants overcome life-threatening obstacles in this vast world. If you observe an ant, my dear friends, you can learn a lot. Whatever obstacles you place in front of an ant, it's so flexible that either it goes around it, under it, or above it. Flexibility is a great quality in an ant. As you notice, the ant never quits. Whatever obstacles you place, it goes over it and it never quits. It has the attitude of a winner. Winners never quit, quitters never win, my dear friends. Ants have wonderful planning abilities. When it is summer, it plans for winter. It's got a lot of patience. When it is winter, it waits patiently for summer. At any given point of time, the ant does all that is possible. It is holistic in whatever it does. However small it is, never invalidates its strengths. Commitment to its best. It operates in a team. Team stands for together, empowering to achieve more. That is team. Ants have the humility to follow the leader. If you see an ant will go one behind the other. There is a leader. Uniting. United, they built an anthill. The anthill has got such a beautiful engineering feat that the temperature inside the anthill is always cool. Ants move in chain, they have perfect communication. So once you learn to organize and balance your life like an ant, being flexible, planning, patience, enjoy each and every moment, commitment, teamwork, humility, and the network ability, you have created a successful balance in life. So once you practice these, you'll allow relaxation to create balance and peace, thus making your struggles sacred. Please remember, my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, please remember that life is like a painting. It's not arithmetic. It's not 1 + 1 = 2. You can create your own world of joy. Please remember this. When a human mind can conceive, believe, and dare, it can surely accomplish. All your struggles have a cosmic reason, cosmic purpose. The ant is so smart that we humans have gone to ants and taken their approach and built an artificial intelligence algorithm. You would not believe if I tell you that we use an algorithm called as ant colony optimization, which is called as swarm intelligence. It gives you the shortest path from point A to point B. It is used by the leading companies, logistics companies like Amazons and the Flipkarts of the world. You will be really amazed to know this. I'll give you a link. When you have time, just read about it. It's awesome. It's really beautiful. You'll be like, so many things that are there that we are not aware of. That's the beauty. I'll share a link, read about it. It's a fantastic, you know. One other thing I'll tell you today, a secret, is if you have ants coming into your house. So there is this chalk piece that is available called as Lakshman Rekha. You draw that line and the ant stops coming. You know how that works? Ants works through when they move from one point to another, they start depositing a chemical which is called as pheromone. So when the ant comes and it chooses the stronger pheromone scent and it will carry on. You read through that concept. It's very, very interesting. Right. Very interesting. The common problem we use the traveling salesman problem, vehicle routing, scheduling problems, image processing. It's used in plenty of these. Amazing, right? So many things that are out there that most of us, are not very aware of. I think today you learned something interesting, right? So send this. Yeah, keep it for your reference. So you can see that. And calling optimization is used. Excellent. Back to business. Just Excellent. Super. So we have 76 students. So let me log the meeting. So we're going to continue from where we left off last week, rather the week before. So once again, wishing you all a happy new year. So we're going to be talking about the staffing. We're going to start with the determination and the assessing of the skill set. What are the alternate sources, legislation, the ethics from a worldwide point of view, the ethics from the Indian point of view, what is personal ethics, what is business ethics, outsourcing. So the first week, we studied about stability, which means the system is always up and accessible as scheduled, measured by the percentage of available time called as MTBF, mean time between failures, and MTTR, which is mean time to repair. Then we told you about the responsiveness, which refers to how quickly an online transaction can be processed and completed, which is measured as a throughput and turnaround. But then we also told you about the business case. Business case is very clear and a short and compact cost justification for the funds to be expended. So we saw eight steps on how to define a business case. We looked at the three universal principles to decide on the business case for any IT project. Then we started developing good understanding on the various ITSM organization structure. And then we also looked at the 14 different attributes that we are going to be studying in detail in this course from now till the 16th contact session. So people, when I talk about information technology service management, that success is not only about creating or designing host systems and the processes. We need people to create, manage, and optimize the information for the business process. Hence, if an IT infrastructure needs to function in a very smooth and reliable fashion, the technology must be robust. The process must be robust, but trust me, we also need appropriate skilled people to be a part of the process, owners of these process. If you do not have the right people, how much ever fantastic technology, how much ever robust process you have, you're not going to succeed. Appropriately skilled people is a very, very critical success factor that makes or breaks an organization. You would know that much better because you smart people are there. And hence, we have wonderful process running in Wipro. Okay. So I have logged the meeting. If anybody get dropped because of your internet problem, just you can still, it'll allow you to send a chat. Send a chat, I'll open up briefly because we have been given strict instructions that nobody's allowed to join the class 10 minutes after the session starts. So please inform your friends. If they don't join, they lose the attendance. No attendance, they will lose the semester. They cannot write this exam. So one of the ITSM critical success factors, these folks would need to plan, design, process, evaluate the technologies, and implement and ensure smooth running of these systems in the management process. Is it good enough for them to just work by themselves, or they will have to work with stakeholders? Yes. They will also need to work with a number of stakeholders. Who is a stakeholder? Stakeholder are the people who participate in the process. It could be users, it could be developers, it could be management. So the stakeholders' participation leads us to the need for systematic ways of considering people who would be part of these processes in terms of right orientation, strategic, tactical background capabilities. When I'm talking about staffing and retention, factors which will help in appropriate staffing would be qualifying and quantifying the skills needed, right? So the factors which will help in appropriate staffing would be qualifying and quantifying the skills required. So we're going to talk about the skill set, the skill level, and the skill set matrix. So when I'm going to approach staffing or hiring, it could be in-sourced or it could be outsourced. In-sourced is redeployments. Outsourced could be referrals, online, recruiters, ads. And then we need to figure out how am I going to retain, right? So the best set of people. I want to retain Vigneshwaran, Abhishek, Ajay Manoj, Deepshika, Ashish. They're all good resources. I want to retain them. What should I do? When should I outsource? So what is a skill set? We saw last week that skill set is defined as the technical familiarity with a particular software, architecture, or a platform. So for IBM mainframes, if you know the databases, you understand the Sun Solaris platform with Oracle databases. So that's your skill set. So what's your skill level? What's your length of experience? What's the depth of technical expertise as an individual that you have acquired so that you can apply the knowledge for a given technology? So how do you define skill set, Sarji? Skill set is a defined technical familiarity with a particular software product and architecture. So how would you determine and prioritize the required skill sets and the levels? So they have several benefits if you do them. You'll be able to quantify the skill sets that will be needed to implement selected functions. More accurately reflect the diversity of the technical experience your environment will require. Then I can estimate necessary skill levels within each required skill set and will reflect the amount of technical depth and expertise that will be needed. The quantifying and qualifying required skill sets and levels are valuable aids in building the business cases. So this is a representation of a mainframe environment skill set matrix. So you have operating system, So IBM, supporting products, others, database management system, IMS Hicks. So are you an intern? Are you a junior? Are you an associate? Are you a senior? Are you lead? So likewise, you build, this is mainframe, this is mid-range computers, this is for client server environment. So you create separate skill matrix table, right? So how good are you with these operating systems, database, network? Then you assess them. Now you're asking, okay, sir, can you give me the skill assessment attributes and characteristics? First thing, I'm going to show you in the next slide on the percentage. You'll be really interested to see. An organization puts 40% in the attitude, 30% in the aptitude, 20% in applicability. Ladies and gentlemen, only 10% in experience. So for them, it's very important. Are you empathetic? Do you have the patience? Are you a team player? Would you actively listen? Are you polite, friendly, courteous? Are you helpful, resourceful? Are you persevering? Are you persevering? Do you make sure that you get what you want? Eagerness to learn new skills, willingness to follow new procedures. Aptitude is the ability to learn new skills, ability to retain the new skills. So you would have written aptitude tests because they know if your aptitude scores are high, they know you have good learning skills, you can retain the new skills, and you will be able to integrate with appropriate old ones. That's the beauty. Applicability. You have the knowledge, can you apply, or you're not applying your knowledge? Very, very important, right? Spend so much time. Are you, to give you that knowledge, are you applying those knowledge? Ability to share knowledge and skills with others. Ability to foresee new areas while skills may apply, where skills may. The number of years experience in a given skill, how recent the experience has been, degree of variety of experience. So I'm going to give you the weightage, told you, right? 40, 30, 20, 10%. And then we're going to give a rating from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. So for this particular employee gets 3 marks, aptitude 4 marks, applicability 2 marks, experience 5 marks. So he gets a he gets a total score of 33, my dear friends. It's very, very interesting to note. This guy has got good experience. But see what it says. Because of the score 33, he's got good recent experience, not always a team player. So chances of him getting hired is very feeble. It's very, very unlikely. He could have a lot of experience in recent product. Amazing, isn't it? It's open, Sachin, it's open. I just opened it. Try now. You can join. Okay. So Sachin's friend is there. Tell Sachin Kumar that he can join. I just opened it up for him to join. So we took a survey of traditional employee benefits, medical coverage, dental coverage, base salary. These are all the things that they value most. The top five, if you would say, is a top five. Should I recruit versus retain? The alternative sourcing options to have on the side. Just one second. I want to see how it looks. So my video is not seen here. So the picture in picture. It's not allowing layer. Do you guys see my video? Or my video is not seen? Is my where is my video? Is it coming on the side? My beautiful face. Where is it showing up?
Yes, sir, your video is visible.
It's on the side, right? So the recruitment alternate source of staffing. I can do a cross training. I can look within IT, It's happening. So cross training, look within IT, I can look outside consultant specialist. Then I can recruit through reference, forums, social network, websites like Indeed.com, Naukri.com, or I can go to a professional hiring consultant. Or I can do a retraining, I can do a creative compensation, I can say work from home, I can incentivize you so that I get the maximum benefit for the employee and the employer. Administration of staffing systems, you will need organizational arrangements. You need jobs in staffing. Policies and procedures must be there, information systems and outsourcing. Then when you're going to evaluate your staffing system, you look for staffing validity. staffing process standardization, staffing process results, staffing costs, and customer satisfaction. So, administration of staffing systems will have organization, jobs and staffing, policies and procedures, information systems. So, entry, mobility. Entry occurs as specialists in recruiting and interviewing. We have mobility, which may involve both traditional and non-traditional career tracks. Now, you know that jobs are becoming more customer focused and facilitated. Increasing number of jobs are found in staffing firms. So the new type of jobs, they're not called as HR managers. They're called with fancy terms. They call it as Chief Talent Officer or VP of Talent Acquisition. Then your HR is supposed to have the policies and procedures, which tells you the desirable course of action and steps to implement them. So policy-wise, guiding principle or objective sought through appropriate actions. Procedure speaks about the prescribed steps of acting in a similar situation. So the staffing activities generate a considerable information. So the types of information to generate and how to find and access and use them is a major issue that needs to be addressed. If you take a small organization, the information system will be purely paper-based or manual system, or it must be in one individual's mind. But when it comes to larger organizations, the information system will likely involve conversion to electronic information and automation of staffing tasks and processes. So what is outsourcing? Outsourcing is the concept of contracting out work to a vendor or a third-party administrator. Now, I can't do it, but I'm going to give it to you. You figure it out. You get consultants or you have the expertise, you implement and you give it back to me. Outsourcing of HR functions is increasing. So which types of staffing activities are outsourced? Outplacement, relocation, testing, recruitment, staffing, use of temporary employees, updating affirmative action plans and applicant strategy, and operating reasons to outsource. Why? Because expertise, flexibility, time savings, service quality, reduction of legal liability, and there's a huge cost reduction. So also one more thing that I wanted to tell you people, I know you're all working probably with foreign, like maybe overseas clients, US clients. But when you are in the class or when you're writing messages to your professor and we are attending Viva, it's always a good practice to address your professors as sir or professor. It's always better. No, that you should practice. You should not type, hi, I'm trying to join the class again. I'm unable to join. So that's how you will send a message to a friend. But after parents, guru is the one whose blessings will make you a successful person. The more respect you give to the gurus, more respect you give to your teacher, the more successful you will be. So it's very sad. The generation confuses respect with style. Respect should always be there. Never miss out. Even in your, I tell everybody, whoever does it, maybe it's an oversight. Always address your professor by saying either you can say sir or say, dear professor, can I do this? Can you help me with this? Even in your dissertations addressed, professors with a lot of respect because that is going to take you places. Trust me on that. Yeah, yeah, that is good. So evaluation of the staffing system, staffing validity, staffing process standardization, staffing process results, cost for staffing, customer satisfaction. Okay. Okay. So how do you drop steps to evaluate standardization? So you start with the map, a flow chart of staffing process. Use for a specific job or a job category. Develop a list of steps followed and actions taken during the process. Identify actual deviations because on flow chart of staffing process. Analyze the deviations and determine the reasons for the occurrence and make change in the staffing system to reduce the deviations and enhance the standardization. You will have quantitative indicators and qualitative indicators. Quantitative is always continuous variables and numbers. It indicates effectiveness and efficiency of the staffing system. The staffing metrics are useful parameters to gauge the pulse of the staffing flow. It provides us the bottom line results. It's very useful for comparative purposes. Two different business units on basis of yield ratios and trends in same staffing system. The staffing metrics is average time and the cost it takes to recruit somebody. Where is the staffing cost? The difficulty exists in determining cost systems. We have lack of common approach to assess costs. Costs vary by organizational size, industry, and labor market conditions. So you will have to find out your customer satisfaction, which can be done through examples of survey items and selection of fairness summary. Some of the legal issues you will have to record and keep reports. You have to have audits. You have to manage legal compliance, records and reports, creation and maintenance of records, privacy concerns, and preparation of reports. Staffing planning is a vital phase of the planning process. So you have the staffing objectives, and then you will generate alternative staffing activities and assessing and choosing alternatives. The staffing objective are the targets that the organization establish to determine how many people we will need in which category do we need. They will also require to establish the quantity and quality. So next, with the quantitative and the qualitative objectives that have been established, it becomes necessary to begin identifying possible ways of achieving them. There are many options available to deal with employee shortage and employee surplus. When I say employee shortage and employee surplus, I'm going to put you a question. You can refer wherever you want to refer, but give me the answer. Give me examples of industries, right, which has employee surplus and the industry which has employee shortage. So you can give your answers here. I'll come back and check it, but take this opportunity to tell me which industry has got surplus employees, which industry has got shortage of employees. Excuse me. If the employee there is surplus, we'll put a hiring freeze. We'll do layoffs. We'll transfer people to other departments. Retirement incentives we'll give for early retirements. We'll reduce the work week from 5 days a week to 3 days a week. We can also reduce part-time people. We'll say come back because we don't have a job. If you are in shortage, you will go with new hires, transfer people, train them, retrain them over time, give them more time, and also start recruiting part-time people. So just as a clue, in your exam, you might get a question which says, give a case study, and it might say, if the staffing is found to be in surplus, what would you do to handle this scenario as a IT manager? So you just don't just only write this. You go on and explain what is hiring freeze, what is layoff, what is transfer, retirement incentives, reduce work week, and reduce part-time. One other thing that I wanted to tell all of you students is not everything can be awesome. Anurag. Healthcare shortage, retail surplus. Very good. Very good. Not everything can be given in the slides. The slides are a good referral point for you. So your exams will have case studies. Even your quizzes will have case studies. Starting third contact session, we'll have in-session quiz, which contributes to 10 marks. Some people will skip taking that, but if you skip it, that's bad luck because you're losing easy marks. So please make sure that you attend. And also, as I was telling, the PPT will not have everything. So if you see a case study in the exam, don't come back and write in the evaluation form saying that, sir, it is out of portion. Case studies will be discussed as a part of our course, but technically it will not be the same case study that will show up in the exam. And those are all just tips. As I said, I will keep throwing some tips as I walk through. So you decide and make a note of it. Really feel, okay, tomorrow I can use that as important questions and study. Each of these scenarios right? And the alternatives need to be assessed to help the decision makers choose among them. So the goal of such an assessment is identify one or more preferred activities. So what is a preferred activity? Preferred activities offer the highest likelihood of attaining the staffing objectives within the time limit established at the least cost and with the fewest negative side effects. Beautiful. This involves key strategic issue of core versus flexible workforce usage. Core workforce, regular full-time and part-time employees. Flexible workforce, temporary employees provided by independent contractor. So we'll have to adjust and handle them. Now we are moving to the second component of the four components that we will see today. Next is ethics and its impact. What is ethics? What is ethical? Oh, you have to be ethical. It is unethical. Ethical hacking, you see, right? Hacking is, we say it's not correct, but it is ethical hacking. Yes, I'm hacking to find my own vulnerabilities, is what ethical hacking is all about. So what is ethics? Ethics or moral principles. What are ethics? Ethics are moral principles are just viewpoints that govern the behavior of the people, business, or conduction of an activity. You will need appropriate skilled people, right? Who's a critical success factor. Then the staffing process will look for skills and skill levels. And also we'll do some assessment on the values and the principles that govern the individuals, but are gamed and not really foolproof. The law involves the rules for conduct of individuals and business. So we have personal ethics, and then we have business ethics that may be used for punishing violations. There are different principles and theories that are associated with ethics. So what is personal ethics? Personal ethics are the set of values or viewpoints an individual uses to influence and guide his or her personal, social, and professional behavior. So the degree to which a particular influence is reinforced and strengthened is dependent on the context of the individual, and it is dependent on the how good these values were strengthened. Anything with regard to people ethics, if it is not followed, only few people get impacted. But when it comes to business ethics, reliability, morality, responsibility, trust, business ethics are the set values which a business and individuals who is doing a business will use to influence and guide their behavior. Could be adherence to corporate laws or rules. So what is the purpose of business ethics? Business ethics tend to focus on the behavior of an individual as it is that pertains to his or her work, business environment. So here large number of people are impacted. Some of the unethical practices are overstating revenues, understanding expenses, inflating profits, underreporting liabilities, misdirecting funds, artificially inflating the stock prices, overstating the value of assets. So you see some companies such as Enron, Equifax, WorldCom, MCR. Now, I want you to answer this question. Look at the chat window. Name the Indian company that got involved in unethical practice and was caught in 2009. Here I'm just giving you as a reference, but you tell me the name of the company that got caught. I'm sure you can do this. Dun, 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 dun. Which one? Maybe somebody replied.
Satyam.
Yes, very good. Correct. Good job. Who was that? Yeah. Anurag, who said Satyam?
Sir, it's me, Daipan Ghoshal.
Okay, super, super. Satyam Ramalinga Raju. This is the scam. What they did, They created fabrication of financial statements, creation of fictitious invoice and clients, fabrication of employee accounts, misleading auditors, corporate governance failures, conflict of interest, and fund diversion. So this led to a big collapse, but now is revived as Mahindra Satyam, eventually emerging fully into Tech Mahindra. Now, people in Satyam has been absorbed into Tech Mahindra. So they were doing all of these unethical practices. These are all foreign companies. I wanted to give you about the local company, Satyam. The answer was right there in front of you. Excellent, good job. So how does the system or government protect these unethical practices? So because of this, the laws were introduced. Sarbanes-Oxley's Act, Clause 49 of 2005, Indian Corporate Governance Clause, Graham-Leach-Bliley Act. So these acts had an impact on ITSM. It increased outsourcing and increased accountability for corporate executives. Since significant number of these have to be certified by executives, IT will need to facilitate this with newer process and data. Significant additional costs will be there to abide by those laws. We don't have a choice. So what did India do to prevent this? India prevented these frauds through these following methods, through SEBI reforms, So India prevented this by having SEBI reforms, which introduced stricter rules for listed companies, PCAOB, US action, while India acted as a US public company. Accounting Oversight Board also sanctioned PwC. Company law amendments, accountability and oversight, independent directors, governance, transparency. We started having a whistleblower mechanisms, focus on substance over form. So this, in a sense, was India's response. Was multi-pronged approach, focusing on the stronger laws, better enforcement, clearer directory and audited tools, and greater transparency. How important are ethics in today's society? This is called as the basic ethical theory. We have deontology, teleology, consequentialism. What are the consequences? Consequentialism. These are called as action ethics, thinking about doing. Deontology is actions are right in and of themselves. Teleology is actions are right because they achieve the purpose of the agent. And consequentialism is actions are right because of the consequences. The end justifies the means. Versus agent ethics, thinking about being emotive, intuitional, and virtue. So right living is an expression and rather than the rationality. Then you have institutionalism. Right living is instinctive and right living is derived from the moral character or the agent. So as we said, ethics is a collection of values and behaviors which people feel are moral. In other words, ethics is the name that we give to good behavior or somebody valuing. Positive work ethic is the collection of all the values and actions that people feel are appropriate in the workplace. So when it comes to work ethic standards, performance standards, you must possess both strong occupational skills and good work ethics. So we are going to list out the 10 traits, areas of what each traits and performance standards will be presented. Expected to exhibit in the workspace. So attendance, very, very important, right? 90% or more required class time attendance. Be tardy for class no more than 8 times during a 6-week. Notify instructor before planned absence. Be prepared for work by reading assignments and completing the job. Participate in activities by contributing to the work discussion, completing assignments. Begin and end work as expected. Use work time appropriately. So just you think punching your attendance is good enough, but all this constitutes to attendance. Your character is very, very important. Display a high level of effort. Right? Commitment to performing and completing the work. Be honest in all situations. Demonstrate trustworthiness and responsible behavior. Display loyalty, dependability, reliability, and self-discipline. So what is loyal? Being loyal to a company means you feel you have a sense of pride. You work as goodwill ambassadors and talk good about the company and be a salesperson. Employees must keep the company secrets. They should not allow that to leak. The more the company succeeds, if they understand, the more they will succeed. If you cannot feel faithfulness and allegiance to your company, it means that you should leave that company and find a job. Whether it is right or wrong, what is right, what is wrong. Honesty is valuable. So when you see next time somebody keeping their hand, it's supposed to be speaking from the heart, which is the truth, which is the honesty. Employees account for 30% of all sort of this. Take away the pencils, the rubbers, and the pens. But don't think, okay, I don't take anything to my house, so I'm honest. Answer is, but being honest is more than just not taking things. In an 8-hour day, how much time do you spend on task? Did you use the telephone for personal calls? Checking emails or texting, it's actually stealing the time from the company. So always be honest. Wrong is wrong, even if everyone is doing it, doesn't matter. Right is right, even if no one is doing it. So what you will do, never lie on your application. Never lie on your timesheet. You work for 7 hours and you put 8 hours. Never work on expense statements. So you missed putting the money, or if you charge $500 and you put $800. So those are all doing funny things with the expense statements. Never cheat a customer, never cheat an associate, never cheat your employer. Why? Because the more the trust, the more the pay. Higher the trust, higher the pay. You've been trusted so well that you are closing or opening the office. You'll be allowed to supervise others. They'll allow you to handle the cash and say, hey, you take the cash and go to the bank. Complete a task, earn some trust or respect. You must be dependable. You must be reliable. Employees quickly see who can handle the responsibility. Keep calm and take initiative is a great. So when employees have initiatives, they are willing to see that work's getting done. People with initiatives are motivated, right? People with initiatives are enthusiastic, industrious, and hardworking. Enthusiastic, industrious, and hardworking. So people with the initiative to see a job that needs to be done and do beyond it, it's called as call of duty. Self-discipline and self-responsibility. So accept responsibility for your life. Know that it is who will get you where you are and where you want to go, no one else. So self-discipline is a part of accepting the responsibility. Self-discipline requires handling of emotions. The hard part is making the best choice among the alternatives. Should I be self-disciplined and accept it as a part of accepting responsibility, or I should handle the emotions? You decide. Teamwork, as we said in the and story, teamwork, teamwork, teamwork. So encourage and facilitate cooperation, pride, trust, and group identity. So you need to foster commitment and team spirit, facilitate cooperation, respect the rights of others, respect confidentiality. So teamwork is cooperative, assertive. So it displays the customer service attitude and seeks opportunity for continuous improvement. The next one is appearance. Present a neat, clean appearance. Practice personal hygiene. Wear clothes that are suitable for the job, task, and environment. Use appropriate verbal and written etiquette. So, let me just. So it's very important. In Tamil, there's a very nice saying. Send that to you. So it's called as Al Padi Adai Padi is half the person, half the clothes, which signifies that a person's character or first impression is judged equally by their personality, demeanor, and their attire, which is the clothes. Especially, it highlights the importance of desiring modesty and appropriate as clothes are seen as significant reflection of ours. Appearance deals with every aspect of how you perceive an individual. In an instant, we form opinions about persons based on their appearance, smell, cleanliness, and mannerism. Depending on the career, an acceptable appearance will also differ. So you might find a person, a manager working inside the workshop, could be the workshop general manager. He'll be making a lot of money, but his dress will all be greasy. So depending on the career, acceptable appearances will vary. Regardless of the job, there is no excuse for not being groomed correct. So why you have this problem of non, you feel that you're not treated well or you're not taken care of? When I told you, you would have thought twice, like, okay, maybe I'm making something, but it very clearly tells attitude is everything. When you demonstrate a positive attitude, you appear self-confident. When you're self-confident, you will cooperate and make constructive criticism. Then you set up the realistic expectations. So gratitude is the best attitude. So demonstrate a positive attitude. Never underestimate the power of a positive attitude. Thank you. It goes a long way. Attitude determines how successful we will be, and attitude determines the altitude. Be confident, appear self-confident. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life, willing to learn new skills, to take opportunities to grow. You have a very realistic expectation, my dear friends. What do I mean by that? From the picture, you can see the cats are also the lion family. You cannot stand in front of a light and think that it is good. So you set realistic expectations of the set. Don't think that you are the lion if you are the cat. So setting realistic goals and working to achieve them will help us to continually grow and develop. Productivity follows directions and procedures. You must observe established policies on safety, notify proper authorities of circumstances or situations, maintain equipment and supplies, keep work area neat and clean, conserve materials, do not use knowingly, do not use or knowingly permit others to use tools and equipments in an improper fashion. Stay on the task, utilize the time constructively. Then you need to have organizational skills. You should have the prioritize and manage time and stress in a very, very effective fashion. You should be also be able to demonstrate flexibility in adopting the charges. The time management techniques tells you to ask for help. The research shows many are scared to ask for help. Why? Because they fear that, oh my God, you don't even know this answer. That's so dumb. You would have heard this from your colleagues, your friends. So when you ask, help comes in many ways. People all around you are paid to help you. Then we work on the time management techniques. What are the techniques to set timetable? Measure how you're doing. You can have a pocket wall or a desk calendar. You have to mark the due date, right? Appropriately. Prior to the activity due date, fill in other days with activities that will help you to accomplish many steps that will help you to complete a big assignment. So they give you an assignment. Don't wait. Start gathering little by little, and towards the end, your entire process is done. Communication. Accurate information to others in a professional and courteous manner. Displays appropriate non-verbal eye contact, body language, listening, telephone etiquette, and grammar skills. Listen attentively to others. So communication works for those who work at it. The worst assumption of a sender can make is that the message will be received as intended language itself can be a barrier. Because when you communicate, you might have unclear wording, you might use a slang, you might use a jargon, or you might use a tone. So these are the areas that can create confusion. Another barrier is body language. How you sit, how you talk. Then you should be very cooperative. You convey a willingness to assist others, work to resolve conflicts and identify solutions in which all parties benefit. Then demonstrate concern for treating people fairly and equally. You will have to follow the chain of command in resolving the conflicts. So you have to display leadership skills, appropriately handle criticisms, conflicts and complaints, demonstrate problem-solving capabilities, and also maintain appropriate relationship with supervisors and peers. Respect should be the first thing you give. Treat instructors, staff, fellow students with respect, courtesy. That's what I was telling you, right? Respect your instructors, your teachers, your professors. Do not engage in harassment of any kind. Don't tell me I don't know. Know the legal definitions of sexual harassment. Deal appropriately when it comes to cultural and racial diversity. Come to the last part where we talk about business ethics. So what is business ethics? What are the different issues that cropped up and how were they resolved and what laws got applied and what laws are being applied right now with regards to business ethics. So the difference between breaches. So if I'm breaching a personal ethic versus the business ethic. So if you're going to breach of personal ethics, you'll be impacting fewer people. Breach of business ethics, you'll be breaching many people. The nature of relationship, the people impacted. Personal ethics could be personal or family oriented. Business, it could be business or professionally oriented. What is the type of legal offense? Personal ethics is civil. Business ethics is criminal offense. Examples of personal ethics: substance abuse, excessive gambling, infidelity. When you talk about your embezzlement, tax fraud or falsified accounting, like what we have seen. Some of the biggest unethical corporate fall downs, right? We're going to tell you both biggest unethical corporate You see, we'll come to it. How many of us remember? Let's. So the Radio Shack Corporation of Consumer Electronics CEO reported falsified information, which led to his termination. The Tyco International is 2005 New Jersey manufacturing conglomerate. The CEO and CFO stole more than 1,150 million US dollars, and they were put in jail for 25 years. The WorldCom International 2022, Washington, D.C., is the largest telecom provider. Had to throw out their CEO for malpractices and fraudulent practices by artificially buffering the stock value or availing loans to take over and mergers. Then comes the Enron Energy Corporation, which is 2001. The most innovative company for 6 years collapsed with 150 million US dollar loss due to money laundering malpractices. Some of the major scandals when it comes to India. It is listed here. You have the Satyam scandal. Then you have the Punjab National Bank, who gave the diamond merchant Nirav Modi and his uncle Mehul Choksky defrauding the public sector over 14,000 crores. Then in 2018, we also had this ILFS, Infrastructure Leasing Financial Services, defaulted in debt obligations, triggering a liquidity crisis. Investigations uncovered several irregularities and fraudulent activities. Then we have this S-Bank scandal in 2020. Rana Kapoor, the bank's founder and the former CEO, was arrested for allegedly receiving kickbacks in exchange of sanctioning large loans to companies. Then we have this very famous Vijay Mallya, 2012, airline collapsed under the massive debt due to poor financial planning, reckless expansion. Mallya is accused of defaulting loans worth 9,000 crores and is been absconding from India. Then we have the Diwan Housing Finance Corporation, DHFL, in 2019. The case involved alleged creation of fictitious branch offices. We call it as Bandra books, to manipulate the company's accounts and siphon off funds, enabling the company to raise large amounts of money from public based on fraudulent financial records. So these are some of the very biggest excellence. Let me send you this and make a note of this. So all this can help in you writing the exams. Okay. Okay. B. Comprende? Pause. For case scenario practice on this subject. There is no YouTube channel which will deal with all this, Anurag. What you would do is, I will be going forward, will be giving as a part of the session a few case studies. So you can practice all those case studies. If you're all interested, I can also give extra case studies and you can start applying on what we learn. So this is a great example. So if you have this and a question that appears, you know which are all the things that were done. Okay. So Let me quickly run through to avoid these problems. The legislations, the new laws were introduced. Sarbanes-Oxley, Graham Leach Billy, California Senate Bill for India Information Technology Act, DISHA Act, and Data Protection and Privacy Act. This is specific to India for protecting PHI and sensitive information. So CEO and CFO certify financial reports, regulates how firms share personal data, discloses security breaches to non-public information, legal recognition of electronic e-commerce, and healthcare. What are some of the key legislations and mechanisms that we have in India? We have Companies Act 2013, Section 447, Section 339 defines the penalties on fraud. Section 177 mandates a vigil. This is a whistleblower mechanism for listed companies, which will ensure confidentiality and protection against retaliation. Then we will have SFIO, Serious Fraud Investigation Officer, investigate complex corporate fraud. Then the Prevention of Corruption Act, 1988, criminalizes bribery, now explicitly covering business entities. Then you have PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002, which targets financial crimes, treating money laundering as a predicate offense for fraud. Then we have Security and Exchanges Board of India, SEBI regulators, which apply strong whistleblower protection for governance companies that are listed. Then RBI is there, which gives you guidelines, extends similar protections to bank and regulated financial industries. Then obviously you have the Indian Penal Code, where based on which you can be penalized for tax evasion, and so on. What happened in the Radio Shack case? Police arrested CEO Edmondson for driving under the influence. And he misstated academic records. The Tyco case, CEO and the CFO, they did all kinds of funny things, and they bought a curtain for $6,000, and they threw a birthday party for his wife in the Italian island for $2 million, all using Tyco funds. So this is the use case. We can do this. I'm just making this change. This can be a good reference for you, because otherwise you might lose out on that. So, so I just added this for you. So you can refer this, I'll share this, so you can refer this as well. So these are the different acts. So the legislation of SOX will be creation of public company accounting. They'll have a PCAOB, stronger penalties, and maintain stronger independence for external auditors. This will talk about financial companies to inform their customers about the privacy policies. Non-public information in page terms. This is a Senate bill. It applies to the breach of security of the computerized data. So, in essence, you perform a skill assessment on attitude, aptitude, and applicability. And you establish a mathematical score and use this for motivational tool for personal development. Recruit right people, motivate them, train them, and develop clear career path. Understand the local laws pertaining, and then deploy, cautiously interpret and deploy them to promote ethical values. Use appropriate consultants and contractors. Decide on when to outsource your products. So you should also start every week. We'll give you small assignments. Work on them, collect them. We'll ask you to submit later. So this is an assignment this week. Perform a skill assessment. Establish a mathematical score. Recruit right people, motivate them, initiate. So this is the requirement. Prepare a business case for deployment of IVRS, sales CRM, and development of IT ticketing system, where you will understand organizing, focusing on network application, focusing on customer help desk, network operations. Then you'll develop a detailed skill matrix for your own job. Talk to your manager for estimating the mathematical score. Narrate why outsourcing of IT services are predominant in Western countries. Like that's what a lot of us have a job. So thank you very much. I will share this. Yeah, done. I have added this. I'll also post the PPT. You can also keep this material. Okay. Thank you guys. Have a great week. And
Thank you, sir.
Happy New Year once again. Take care. See you next week. Bye.